So this is our makeshift goat barn here. It is, my friend and I worked on it. He did most of the work because I was working, and he did a great job. It's sealed up, and the idea was at the time to lock them up at night. But it turns out that was not a solution to the predator problem, because the predators come out during the day just as much as they do at night. So briefly in here, I'll give you guys a better tour later, but this is basically the goat barn. And it was all thrown together because the weather was coming. It was bad winter weather. So it got the job done at the time. I'm going to need to make some renovations here with the shelving. These were being stored in here, and the goats ended up using them as bunk beds, so it was kind of funny. So what we're here for today is to learn how I keep the mosquitoes and the bugs off of the goat's water. And the way I do it is with this pond pump down here. And the water's low right now because this brick is showing. But basically, the water is flowing in a circle. It's going around. So it keeps it going continuously, and the bugs don't get on it. So this water it's been 2 weeks since I cleaned it. I refilled it once, so they drink it down about once a week. And in this time, you can see a little mud in the bottom here, a little piece of grass over there, but for the most part, there's no mosquito larvae, there's no bugs, and if there is a bug, it'll be one of those big old ones, and it'll be dead. Okay, so the brick idea to begin with, this is a cinder block. So if a baby goat gets inside the water and he won't drown, he can get on the block and jump out. And there's another cinder block out here, and that's where the little goats can get up on it so they can reach the water when they're really, really tiny. So we've got Cookie here. She's looking at us. She's saying, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" You can see she's skinny because she's got the worms from that hay. We're going to go burn that hay later. Those worms are very expensive. Okay, so this water pump right here, this is a construction clamp. So I use it to hold the cord. So when I'm working on it, I just stick it over here on the shelving. The reason why I had to put the clamp on there, because some of the goats were getting their horns hung on this cord, and they start getting all crazy thinking something's getting them, and they pull the pump out of the water. It was happening a lot, so I just used the clamp, and the problem was solved. So this pump, this is a Harbor Freight pond pump. I paid about $7 for it, I think, long years ago for a different project. And it draws the water in through the bottom right here. You can see all the grass sucked up on it. And then it blows it out the top here. And I put a clamp on there because I can put a piece of PV or a PEX fitting right there, 3/4 inch, and it fits just right. And so the plastic was starting to split over, it's been in here about 3 years, I think, something like that. So I put that clamp on there to help with that problem. What we'll do is we'll use that pump to pump out the water so I can clean the water trough. These right here, so that's the hole is called a bung hole. That, like Beavis and Butthead, I guess. And the white is called a bung plug. So if you need to get a special wrench for it to get it out, it's got this special shape. It's called a bung wrench. You can find them on Amazon and stuff. And you want to get the metal ones. The plastic ones suck. So you see this one is nice and white. But down there at the bottom, that one has got a little bit of algae and stuff like that growing around it. So it's because of the whiteness, I think. Well, I used to have it facing this way, because in the past I was going to do an automatic filling and have an automatic drain to drain it out once a week, and then it would fill back up. So I had it facing that direction. Well, that direction is where the sun is. And that algae was really, really growing around the thing. I mean, really bad. So I just turned it around, faced it away from the sun, and the problem's basically solved on that. So you might keep that in mind. This is a 55-gallon barrel. It's food grade. It had vinegar in it or something like that. It used to have a label on it. So I just cut the side out using a saw of some kind. I don't remember what it was. All right, so let me go grab the discharge hose. I'll show you how I pump the water out, and we'll get the whole trough all cleaned up. All right, let me go here and get this discharge hose. So what I do, I just drape it across the shelving unit here. So I have a little screw to keep the hose from knocking my clock off the wall. And there's this cord up here. Kind of need to fix that later, but basically, just take it off of here. You can see down here on the other side, it just hangs down. So just slip it off of the shelving, and we'll carry it back over here. So here is the PEX fitting I was talking about. 3/4 inch PEX. And it's some kind of brass or something. I know it's just colored now, but it just so happens to fit right into the end of the pump right there. Then I can put the pump in the water and we'll pump it out. So it's going to go through this discharge hose. Just take the hose, stick it out through the wall. So it goes way out there into the grass. So it's going to discharge out there, probably run back over here anyway, but at least it's getting away. Now let me just plug this in and it'll start pumping. Okay, now you can see why this is an old hose. You see all the water blowing out of it? It's just old, man. Got holes and cracks and stuff in it. But works great for a discharge. So while that thing's pumping out, then I'm going to go get the freshwater hose. So go over here to the freshwater section. So this is freshwater hose, and this thing right here, I always close it first before I start working with it, because otherwise I'll forget. So it's just an on-off valve. You can see how you just turn it on and off, and it works better. I've tried all kinds of sprayers and the fire hose kind of sprayers and all kinds of stuff, and this right here works the best because it's small and it doesn't get hung up on that cinder block inside the water trough. I get them at Walmart. They're pretty inexpensive. One of them started leaking after about a year, so I bought a couple of them the last summer. So I just unroll it like this. The goats get kind of spooked by this thing. Like, they're like, oh boy, what's all that big old stuff going on? So they're used to it now, but some of them, the younger ones, still kind of run a little bit. So I just hook it on that board. That thing's discharging. I'll go out here and get the water turned on. Here's where we turn on the water. So the bucket's made for wintertime, but it works good in the summer too. So the hose kind of lays down here in this low spot, and it has a little quick connector thingy on it. So I just quick connector it right here. Make sure this side is closed so it doesn't spray me in the foot. And turn it on all the way. So remember, I closed that valve on the inside because if I forgot, right now I'd be blowing full blast, and I've done that plenty of times, so I had to make a habit. So it's almost done blowing the water out. Okay, so here's my handy dandy broom. It's made for a workbench or something. You can get them at Harbor Freight. So I use this to clean off this, and we're going to use that for our workstation. Put this back in here. So I can hear that everything's finished with this. So what I'm going to do is pull this brick out first. I put it over on this side of the block, because sometimes when I roll this around, the dirt gets up on the edge of the brick right there. Now I take this brick and I put it underneath the end of it so it can pump all the stuff out. Once it gets pumped down, see, there's a really big, looks like a hornet or something. You get an occasional bug, but ain't nothing like it was. So when it gets down a little bit, I'm going to use the hose to spray it out. The freshwater hose. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but that's when it's done. Okay. Now we're done with the pump. I'm going to put the discharge hose up over that shelving. I can just flip it right out like that. Nice and easy. Set this over here and come back to it in a minute. I just drape it up over the top. Hook it behind that screw so it doesn't knock my clock off the wall. Ready. So now we're done with the brick. Pull the brick out. Now I'm going to take the fresh water and I'm going to blow off the pump. So the pump has all kinds of stuff that builds up on this, like the suction side of it. So basically I'm just blowing all that off. So you see how that works like a sprayer? All you do is kind of crack it open. I'm going to set this over to the side. Now I need to dump that out. So the way that I do it is I just roll it. And so there's going to be dirt and stuff that's going to come up on my boots. These are my barn boots here. These are the oldest ones. So they're okay to get dirt and mud on them and poop and everything else. So it's kind of a space I'll show you under here. Basically, just dump it out like that. So you see, after a while, it just kind of makes that little space where it sits, and you can just you can just turn it, rotate it in there a little bit. So this is the bung plug I was talking about on the bottom. Here's the one on the top. So this one has threads on the inside of it, and that's what I was thinking about using for an automatic drain one time, but I never did do it because of the algae problem. So I still may do that later, but for now, we're just using it as a standard old trough. So I'll put it back in its place. So now we've got a little bit of water in the bottom, but I'm going to give it some more. Let me see if I can show you on the sides here. Can you see all these lines right here? Those are lines of dirt as the water level goes down. And so they're all the way around the whole thing. And that's what we're going to clean. Oh my goodness. There's a big gigantic wasp nest right there beside me the whole time. I did not even see that thing. Man. And I can see them all perched up. See right there? So I can't do any more work until I get that wasp nest fixed. Boy, them things will send me to the doctor. Golly, there's another big old one. I don't know why they're not getting me yet. Usually those brown and yellow ones, they will make me swell up so bad. I got stung in each leg about 7 years ago. Both times I had to go to the doctor and get a shot. I had to wear house shoes to work. My foot swelled up so bad. All right, well, let me take care of those things first. Good grief. That was lucky right there. Okay, we're coming back from them wasps. Man, telling you. Alright, so let me show you. If you don't have some of this, you need to get some. If you're going to be around Texas, you're going to have wasps, man. But this one works the best, and it ain't cheap either. And you see that says 20-foot blast? Well, there's another one. I forgot the brand, Black Max or something. Makes the roach spray, you know. Well, it comes out of there real strong. But it just blows all the wasps off the nest. It doesn't even get any poison on them. It's ridiculous. So let me see if I can zoom in on these things. You guys need to know about this. Let me see what they... Hopefully they're all dead. If they're not, probably going to be going to the doctor here pretty quick. So they're brown and yellow. And they end up building their nest kind of upside down like this. I had to move the water trough out of the way so they wouldn't be under the spray of the wasp stuff there. Now let's get back on this deal. So the way that I clean the water trough is with one of these kinds of toilet brush. This is the cheap one. See, it's got the wire on the inside, so it makes it flat. So these are the cheap kind at Walmart. I've tried round ones. They're okay. These kinds, it's like it cleans the surface better or something. So what I'm going to do is get the fresh water in here and blow it around. And then we just kind of dip it down in the water and scrub up on the sides. Pretty easy. What happens if you let all this dirt and stuff build up on the sides, eventually it starts growing moss and stuff like that and algae. So if you just do this like every couple of weeks, or maybe once a month even, then no problems. I used to have one of these outside before. Same deal. Scrub all the algae out with one of these deals. That's the bomb right there. So let me see if I can show you a close-up of that algae down there growing on that, see it growing on the bone plug there? That's the algae, but that's not bad. That's really good. So now that we've scrubbed it out, now I'm going to take it and dump it. Now I'll rinse it out. And then dump it one more time. We'll be done. So I turn it a little bit like down in the front, so the little goats, if I have some babies later, they can get on this front block and reach inside. So I'm going to go ahead and hose off this cinder block that goes on the inside right quick. Okay, now I put the cinder block back inside. I'll make sure it's kind of tilted forward a little. Now, ready to fill her up. So I go back and get the clamp thing that holds the wire for the pump. And the reason why I like this little short spraying deal here, so it's just a water valve, you know, is because I can stick it inside the cinder block, because otherwise it'll come out and just start spraying all over the place. So I stick it in there, but I have to use a clamp to hold it over here on the side. Basically, I have to push the hose in enough where it gets over here on the side so it can't blow out. Now, take our pump, and if I lay it like that, the cord comes right up on this left side. Now let's go ahead and plug it in, because sometimes I forget. I want to show you what the surface of the water looks like. with the pump running. And two, you know, we saw that big black hornet thing. So if you get something, you can use one of these things. It's made for, you get it at Walmart for like $3, made for like a fish aquarium or something. And, oh, we got some holes in it. That sucks. You have to get a new one. So if I was dipping down in here and I got something in it, then the way you get it out of it, you just turn it over here to the side and flop it inside out. So see how it flops inside out? And then you can scoop something up and do it again. When it gets wet, it works better. Turn it upside down, and it just turns inside out by itself. Alright, so that's how that works if you need to use it. I don't have to use it very often. Alright, so we've got the water all filled up. I just put the hose over here to the side so I can do the chicken's water. Now I just take this clamp and put it back on the cord for the pump. And after this thing settles down, it's still kind of moving. When it settles down, I'll come back and show you what the surface of the water looks like. Alright, so now this water is settled down real nice. Don't know if you can see the surface of it. It is just ever so slightly going around, very calm. And so it's enough. I don't know if you can see that stuff kind of passing by here, this little grass and stuff. It's enough that it doesn't bother the goats. The chickens get up on this block and drink out of it. But the flies won't lay any larvae, and the small bugs won't even get on it. It's like weird to them because it's moving around. The big ones will, like that big old hornet, but that's about it. So that's how I keep the mosquito larvae off of the goat's water. That little pond pump. Alright, now for the chicken water, I'm going to close this gate so the goats won't be in here wearing me out. That way I can leave this back gate open and I can kind of go back and forth. So the chicken water, everything over here is kind of a makeshift deal. I got 7 chickens to begin with, and 2 of them were roosters. So 5 hens and 2 roosters. One rooster died, a coyote ate it. Now I've got about 20 chickens because they started making babies. So right now, this is what I've got for their water. I've tried a couple of different things. Each one holds a gallon. They drink about 2 gallons a day. So this is like 2 days worth right here. And this heat lamp's how I keep it from freezing in the winter. I've experimented with some things. That seems to work for now. It seems that there may be a change later. Alright, so basically, you can see this one, how it's got all this mud in the bottom. Well, we just wash it out and fill her up. Oh, that's still got some water in it, but I'll go ahead and change it out anyway. We're going to get all of them. I'm going to come back and clean this out in a minute. Get out of these gloves. So I had to do a bunch of makeshift stuff with these cords everywhere. And a little at a time, I'm converting everything over to conduit. So we'll get that figured out too. Yeah, dang fire hazard up in here. Alright, so on the chicken water, that's pretty easy. You just unscrew the lid. And then I'll just dump out what's in it. Start over. So you see it's got all this mud and stuff around the sides of it. Just use a sprayer to blow it out. That's it. If it gets all hard in there, like it's been dry for a while, I can use that toilet brush to clean it out. So I just clean that out to make sure there's nothing weird inside. Now, when you go to fill this thing up, you got to be kind of quick with the throttle on this thing because it'll fill up pretty quick. I just have to cut it back a little at a time until it gets to the top. That's it. Now I screw the lid on. So see, when the water's in there, it goes out this little slot on the side and fills up the tray there, and that's how they drink out of it. Apparently, they don't have any trouble with mosquitoes or bugs on their water because they eat bugs. All right, so now we take this water back in here to the chickens. So I put them up on these concrete blocks so they won't, because they kick around all this dirt, looking for bugs and stuff. So they won't kick so much dirt into it. It seems to work pretty good. I would get some taller ones, but I keep it down lower for the babies. But later I may have a tall one and a short one or something. So it's 1 p.m. on July the 8th. It's 97 degrees and it's 55% humidity. That's humid, man. So the reason why it's so humid is because we just got some rain the other evening. We got it was a little over a quarter of an inch, but that's just enough to add to the heat and make humidity. So it is big sweat. So this is why I'm wearing my burn boots. I need to put some petroleum jelly on them things. Talk about extra dry. Woo. But these, they're okay to get wet and muddy and poopy. So my backup water. So this is in case the chickens are out of water and the goat water is low, then I can use this. That's 1 day, 2 gallons. So if I'm working, I'm going to be off work the next day, then I can just use these dudes here. So same deal with you got to control the throttle on the old water here, and you better keep your feet out of the way too, because it'll get you. All right, so if you guys have any ideas on chicken water, so here's my thing. I was talking about the goat water, making an automatic drain and an automatic filler. And I've got some other stuff here. I haven't shown you guys yet, some gate openers and stuff in here. I wanted to use a home automation system to make automatic feeders and automatic waterers and open the gates and all that business. So if you got any ideas on the chicken water, that's what's kind of got me. The goat water, that's pretty easy. Don't know about the chicken water. How can you completely automate chicken water? I know that commercial farms got to have some kind of ideas. I've seen those little cup deals and those little things that stick out that they rub with their beak. But the problem with them things, the baby chicks don't seem to be able to get to them very easily. So maybe when I have babies, I can use these, and when I have adults, I use those. Don't know. Other thing about those little cups and those little deals that they do with their beaks, if the water breaks, then it's just gonna make my water bill $400. So I thought about using a storage container and a pump, but then I saw somebody doing that and they had an algae problem. So heck, I don't know. All right, so that completes the chicken water. Now we just got to roll up the hose and we'll call this one. Okay, so the water hose rolling up business. Let me show you how we do that. We have to go out here and turn off the water first. All right, let me show you this here. So we've got this Y valve here, okay? Right now it's got pressure. That's the hose going into the barn. So what I do is I turn the main water off here first. You got to make sure that your boot isn't right under here and then let the pressure off. So it lets the pressure out of this hose. But you have to remember to turn this back off. Otherwise, it's going to get your foot when you come out here the next time. So then we just undo the quick connect, lay the hose in the trough over there. That's the low spot for it so the lawnmower doesn't get it. Then I just rotate this thing down. So this is off, that's on. Rotate this down, put the bucket on, bada bing, bada boom. Now we're going to just roll this hose up. Pretty easy. I use my goat gloves because it's going to have barn dirt all over the hose and everything. So I open up this valve. That lets the air go in. That way, especially in the wintertime, it'll let all the water out of the hose when I roll it up like this. And then it won't freeze. I've been doing it about 3 or 4 years and seem to have success this way. Tried other ways, of course. Uh-oh. So roll it up and hang it on this hanger right here. And the only section remaining is this here. And so far, it's had enough room to expand when it gets cold freezing. No problems.